I think it's kind of become like a cliche thing for a lot of barbershops to be like, oh, we're this, traditional style barbershop with a modern feel. It's kind of like the church for people who hate church is kind of the cliche thing to say. It's the same thing for us, it's as far as we are though. We a lot of the shops I think confuse that, making this modern feel to their shop by putting in pool tables or flat screen TVs or things like that, and they kind of lose it. I don't know. It just becomes more novelty. Where we really are when you come in. I mean, it's a 9-chair shop. It's the hex tile floor. It's 100-year-old barber chairs. It's a very traditional barber shop. It really is. It's all about the conversation. We don't have those flat screen TVs to distract you. So then the modern side of it is just, I mean, it's 2020. So, I mean, that's just kind of what makes it modern. But yeah, we've got, loud music in there, and we're having fun, and it's there's people laughing all the time and cutting up. So I mean, the more the modern feel is just the fact that we're in there, and but yeah, man, we do our best, and we try to be this just kind of fun neighborhood barbershop, and I think that's kind of what we've accomplished.
I have 2 specific questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, number 1 is, how long did it take to find those chairs? Because those chairs are sturdy. Trust me, I kicked my shin on one of them, and the knot didn't go away until like 2 haircuts later. And then the second one is how did you pick your barbers? Because one of the things I love is that they all have different personalities. And you said they come in there and they talk to you and hang out and all that other stuff. Spencer, I think, uses as little words as possible with me.
Yeah.
And I love it. As much as, and we've talked, as much as I love to talk, I just want to not. I mean, you've seen me. I almost fall asleep in that chair. Like, yeah. It's great. So,
no. Actually, I was just when you mentioned it, I was reaching out and feeling my leg because I've done the same thing. I've taken one of those chairs. I think my leg thought I could fight it, and I've had a knot for like months on end. Yeah, the chairs we got. Basically, how we started was we wanted to have very classic looking barber chairs, but you can find new chairs that kind of have like that old school look to them. And we're kind of leaning that direction. And then we had been through the whole process, kind of developing this relationship with this shop out of Richmond, Virginia called High Point Barber Shop. And they had opened a couple shops up there, and they were getting ready. They had put brand new Belmont chairs in their second shop, and they had said, hey, we're going to replace the chairs in the first shop, which were 5 of the chairs that are now in our shop, and they offered them to us. And I said, yeah, oh, absolutely, we want them. And so that's how we ended up with the first 5 Koken chairs. So obviously that was a little more than half. So then we just had to curate 4 more. And so it was just basically getting online, getting on Craigslist, getting on Facebook Marketplace, going to different sites and finding the chairs. And so we went to Charlottesville, Virginia. We went to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Nashville, Tennessee. So we got the other 4 from all over. And so, yeah, that's how we ended up with them. And so we love them. They're like old cars or anything else that's old. They require constant love and attention. There's a couple of them that are a little quirky, but yeah, man, they get the job done. And one of these days they may not make sense, but right now we love having them in the shop. And then, yeah, the barbers, man, I think, my goal for, coming up with, putting a staff in the shop was one, like you said, I don't want 9 guys cut from the same cloth. I don't want 9 guys that think the same, that look the same. And so everybody's got a very different personality. What for us, what we wanted was everybody to have, for lack of better words, the attitude, Spencer's one of those guys that, like you're talking about, I mean, he's a man of few words. I mean, there are guys that they get in his chair that he cuts up with and stuff. But a lot of guys that he went to high school with and things. But, he's got he doesn't have a single tattoo. A lot of us are, covered in tattoos. He didn't have the first tattoo. He's, he listens to not the same music a lot of us listen to. But, man, the dude walks the walk. He's got the attitude. His ethos falls right along with ours. And so, that's really what's my goal is just to find guys that, like, for them, it wasn't about being some rock star barber. It was just about being passionate about the career and, being able to like fit in and hang out. And he just, that's how everybody in the shop is.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he's great. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think I've been asked by Donald, by the way, if you ever go to the shop, there is a Donald and a Don. They're
Yes,
two different people.
they are.
But he's like, hey, are you, I think it was the first time. Were you happy? Absolutely, man. It's awesome. And I won't go to anybody else. And, he very much, like the conversations we have, he remembers them. Like he knows to ask about my wife and my kids and how's the truck doing and all that. And of course I ask him, he just got married. So I ask him how that's going and all that. And then we don't talk. I mean, there is no more conversation.
Yeah.
And I love every minute of it. So I just
I think you and I have more conversation before you sit down in the chair and after you get out of the chair than you have while you're in the chair. So
yeah.
Do you think he knows that you need that for that experience? Like it's helpful for you?
I don't know if he knows it or if it's just an instinct or just as honestly his personality.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Spencer's definitely the most quiet of the bunch, like I said. But as far as, these guys all know. These guys are all professionals. Yeah. And these guys, they get somebody in their chair. Even if it's the first time in their chair, they ask them, a couple questions, and they can pick up, what they're putting down, so they can tell whether they want to talk or not, and so and then guys like Paul, who are repeat clients who, come in every few weeks, Spencer remembers that he knows what Paul likes, and so he takes care of Daddy Paul.
Yeah, he always asks me how I want my haircut, and I'm like, dude, you get paid to do this. Like, please,
just do it.
Which I know he's supposed to ask. I'm just kind of like, but in the last couple, he just hasn't even asked me. I just sit down and he starts cutting my hair.
Just sit down, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. And the other thing is, you're not, I keep using restaurant terms, but you're not turning tables. Like they're actually spending time with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. That's the thing. Everybody's in the chair for like 45 minutes. So
yeah.
Dang, that's a long time. Like, as someone who has literally never done that before, does it feel like a long time when you're in there? I'm guessing not, because Paul, you just fall asleep and get a nice beard massage, right?
Hey, I never thought how big his hands were until you said something.
Yeah, those are meaty fingers.
It doesn't feel like it. It didn't feel like it the first time either. It felt honestly like I was being more taken care of.
Cool.
The time didn't, and they tell you up front, hey, this like your appointment's going to be 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
And Donald's really good about, hey, what time what do you have to do later? Like what is his title? Because I don't know what his title is.
Yeah, he's our front desk manager. Yeah, mm-hmm. It was something we wanted to make sure that I had in the shop, and we're not to the place where we have him there 5 days a week. He's there 3 days a week right now, but the guy is incredible. He's worked in salons and barbershops and and he got into it because one of his best friends did hair. And so they had offered him a job at a salon at some point in his life. And he was just like, yeah, why not? Because he likes tackling different things and he's just so good at it. Yeah. But yeah, man, he's incredible. But he's our front desk manager. So he does all the heavy lifting.
Yeah. No, obviously not verbatim, but whenever I set my appointment up, he's like, hey, what else do you have to do that day?
Yeah.
What are you doing before and what are you doing after? Making sure that you have plenty of time, and which to me is blew my mind on customer service, just because that's the business I'm in. Yeah. But so anyways, do you do kids hair?
We do kids hair. We do. We do. Yeah. Sorry. I see. We went the exact same place. Yeah, we definitely do kids hair. So, it's, we're not one of the, we don't advertise it because, we don't want to become like the kids' place to go. But it's so funny, man. People are like, they'll call and they'll be like, do you guys do kids' hair? And they're like, how much? And they're like, well, it's the same as an adult cut. And they're like, some people are shocked by it. And I'm like, well, they have just as much hair as
really?
any other human, right? So probably maybe more than some adults.
Yeah, thanks.
And you know, Asher,
Yeah.
and they make it more challenging because they don't sit still. So why would it cost less? So, but
Should actually probably cost more.
Sure.
yeah, we'll charge you double because you're a little butthole child.
As an adult who has multiple children, I also appreciate that there aren't hardly ever any children there.
Yeah,
And
we don't get a lot.
Like, I love kids, obviously. You know, dude, the whole vibe is so chill, though. It really is. Like, it's you know, anyways, I think I may have told you this personally, but, you know, out in the world of our 7 viewers currently,
Nice.
this is, did I call
8.
that right?
You
I don't
just
know.
jumped up.
Oh, 8.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, like I look forward to it every time I go. So
That's cool.
Man, we appreciate it, dude. That's what we want to hear. You know, we want to make sure. You know, I think the things that one of the guys, myself and all the guys, enjoy the most is, I think John Michael, one of our barbers, said one time, he's like, man, when people leave here, like, you can tell they've had a good time. Like they enjoy being here. You know, they enjoy the conversation, they enjoy the vibe. And he's like, he's like, that's what keeps me going, you know? And so that's a big thing for us.
yeah, it's not just a haircut. So,
well,
I know Ash.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, we've been talking about just local businesses, and it's really cool to have you on because you are a local business with Saints and Sailors. But are there ways that people can help out right now, just amidst the whole crisis? And are there any other businesses around town that you want to shout out?
Yeah, I mean, for us, you know, obviously this impacts us pretty hugely right now, not being able to go to work. You know, we were the first shop, the barber shop that I know of, to actually proactively close our doors before it was mandatory.
Yeah.
You know, it was last Tuesday, I guess it was last Tuesday. You know, we came in, we met as a team. You know, we made some decisions to practice social distancing. You know, we cut our staff in half. We basically, and by that I mean we had 3 barbers in the morning and 3 at night. You know, we didn't either one saw them in half or fire anybody. But so we definitely, you know, we're trying to do things, take extra precautions and extra steps. But there's only so much you can do with the way things are right now.
Right.
And so, you know, Thursday, we just made the decision to close about midday. We just thought, hey, you know what? This is probably coming down the road. We don't want to be. We prefer to be one of the first shops to do this and a catalyst versus the shop that followed or the shop that kind of got bullied into it or the shop, you know. So we didn't want to be in that position. So we went ahead and shut the doors. But anyway, yeah, man. Last Friday, I think it was, I posted up. One of the ways you can support the shop right now is you can pre-purchase haircuts by buying kind of e-gift cards. You can go to our website. You can, like, you're going to go book a haircut, and there's an option there to purchase gift cards online.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, I'm on the site right now. I was going to post the link.
Yeah, so it's just Saints and Sailors, and is spelled out. So saintsandsailorsknox.com. In the left-hand corner, there's a Book Now button, and it takes you to our booking page for booking your haircut. And one of the options on there just says gift cards. And so you can purchase gift cards. And again, you can buy them for yourself. You don't have to buy them for somebody else, but you can purchase them to basically prepay for your next cut, you know, or you can buy three cuts or 5 cuts, but anything helps the shop right now because we still have, no matter what, we still have rent coming up, you know, and we still have bills that have to get paid.
Yeah.
And then also on Instagram, I don't know, I'm such a not good technology person, but on Instagram, what's the when you have a story and then you save the story, what is that called? You put it down in your highlight. Thank you. See, you're so young and hip.
Just barely.
But I put a highlight on there of if anybody wants to help support the barbers and tip their barber, I added everybody, including our front desk manager, Donald. I call him Donnie. But anyway, I put everybody's Venmo account on there.
Nice.
So if anybody wants to go ahead and show their barbers some little love and gratitude and appreciation, you can Venmo them a little cash. It doesn't have to be, huge quantities of money, just something to say, hey, I love you and I'm still thinking about you while I'm not in the shop. And of course, they would definitely appreciate that. And then the other thing I'm working on right now with the guy that designed our logo is, of course, we've been asked for merch multiple times. And so we are working on a couple cool, little limited run designs. And so we're going to release a couple T-shirts, and so people can kind of pre-purchase them. And then we'll have that hopefully here in the next couple of days. And then people will be able to buy some Saints and Sailors merch to wear around town. And whether it's a T-shirt, we might do a hat or something too. So just a couple little cool swag ideas for people to have something.
That's
so,
what
you hat boys.
Yeah. Yeah. Were you about to say something, Paul?
Yeah.
No, I was coughing.
Oh.
Coughing. That was a weak cough.
I was clearing my throat.
But yeah, local businesses that right now you can support. The food industry, of course, has taken a huge hit. We're a neighborhood shop. We love to support things in our neighborhood. And so Oakwood Barbecue. So if you know the Steamboat Sandwich guys and you know the Else guys, they also own Oakwood Barbecue.
Oh, cool.
And so it's a food truck. And so we've actually given them permission to set up in our parking lot across the street. We leased the parking lot right across the street from us. They were there yesterday from 12 to 7. They'll be there again today from 12 to 7.
How'd they do?
I haven't talked to them since yet. Their day went yesterday, so I need to follow up with them, or you might want to follow up if you know. Nathan,
I was going to ask. I was actually
reach out. Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm not sure. I need to get a hold of Nathan. I'm actually going to go down there tonight. The family and I are just going to get out of the house and just kind of get in the car, drive to the shop, and get some food and go sit in the shop and eat it.
They have legit brisket. Their brisket is legit.
Man, I had never had it, and I totally missed the main season of the food truck because we opened in September. And so I was just so crazy there in the beginning. And so and it still is crazy at the shop, but we're able to manage it a little bit better now, but I just never got a real chance to go down to Central Filling Station. And so I went down there, and had, Oakwood like a week or two ago, and it was amazing. It was so good.
Yeah.
And then, so anyway, Oakwood's right across the street. So they'll be there today from 12 to 7. So if anybody's hungry, go support Oakwood or anytime that they're out. And then across the street from us is French Fried Vintage. You can actually purchase stuff online from them right now. I think they're open on Saturdays right now. Magnolia Records is right next door. Carrie, who owns Magnolia, does online. He'll order stuff for you and have it shipped to you, I'm sure. So that's one of the main ways they support themselves. Is like when you go into the shop, a lot of times it's I can't find something that I want, but his main thing is like I probably don't have it, but I'll find it for you. And so that's one of the ways you can help support that shop too. So. But yeah, man, it's tough right now, man. I mean, it's weird because there are a lot of places that haven't come up with any sort of convenient or easy way to kind of support them through this. So it's going to be interesting how we all come out on the other end of this.
Yeah,
so.
Really. Like Paul was saying yesterday, a couple restaurants in Knoxville have just completely shut their doors, like aren't able to continue. So
yeah,
it's nuts.
What was? I think you and I have the same thought process because we were one of the first trucks to shut down completely as well. Like we're not doing delivery, we're not doing drop off, we're not doing catering, none of that. What was the thought process and the decision making? By the way, there is no right or wrong decision. I think I've said this 100 times.
They're all wrong, right? It's all the wrong.
Yeah, they're all wrong.
Somebody.
You cannot make a correct decision. But as much as you can share, what was the thought process on closing before mandate? Was it, and for us, it wasn't about image, even though it makes us look better.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't about that. For me, it was about loved ones and kids and all that stuff, and that the proximity that we are to people. And honestly, man, I didn't want to get something and then make something that goes in your mouth basically is what my thought was. But what was yours in the closing early?
It was a couple of different things. I mean, one, it's that, even if you only are working 3 barbers at a time and all their chairs are separated out. And one of the steps we did take was we stopped doing, for those couple of days, we stopped doing beard trims and shaves. Because, when you're doing you're like right in somebody's face. Yeah. Yeah. So, you're getting pretty in their personal space, but, which that's 100% of the time, no matter what illness is going around. So if it's flu season, you're still in somebody's face, and I get this is a little bit, crazier of a time, but we just thought, hey, this is one preventative measure. But then, when you're still doing someone's hair, you're still in this bubble, you're still in this proximity. And so that was the first thing, is that, hey, no matter what, somebody's running around.
Do what?
Keep it down, Ashley. No.
So I'm good now.
But and so that was the first thing, was thinking about, hey, this is we're in everybody's faces still. But I was probably less freaked out than probably some of the guys in the shop. But the barbers were freaked out. And rightfully so, and I totally understand, and I get that, and it took me a minute to like step back and because I'm not in everybody's face. I'm there in the shop, but I'm obviously not in somebody's face. And so it was just listening to the barbers and their concerns. And some of the guys were like, hey man, if we're going to stay open, I'll stay open. I'll keep working. And some of the guys were like, I'm not comfortable doing this. And I think it was just like, hey, let's just close. I think it's the best. I think the energy in the room was just not great. And whether it was, all 6 barbers or 1 barber or, half the barber, it just, it creates if one person's worried, it just creates not a fun environment. And it's not, rightfully so, if they're worried, we should respect that. We should all be worried. And it just took me a minute, and I just kind of sat back and thought about it. I'm like, man, you know what? We need to go ahead and close. This just needs to be, and we called all of our clients, that had appointments for the next couple of weeks, and they were all super cool about it and totally understood. And except for one guy who was like, who had made an appointment the day before, and of course we hadn't decided to close at the time, and he had never been in the shop, and he was like, it would be nice if somebody would have told me yesterday. I'm like, well, we didn't know we were going to close yesterday.
Yeah, really.
It's an hour by hour thing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
By the way,
this is
Cody Knoll just said Saints and Sailors is the GOAT. And for you older guys, that means greatest of all time. So
here's funny. I literally, it took me, I don't know. I maybe caught on to what that meant, like, I don't know, 6 months ago.
Late. Yeah.
So,
I was
I was
super
real late to that game. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell's a GOAT?
I'm not. I'm hip. I'm with it.
Yeah, dude. Paul's on TikTok or whatever. So
yeah, you're on TikTok and you have a litter of kids. So you're gonna hear all the cool stuff.
We jumped 613 followers last night.
Oh
Just,
my gosh.
Heads up. We give a TikTok update every day.
Yeah,
so
monetize.
That's so funny.
Come on.
Also, and I think we all 3 decided to stop doing in-person things.
Yeah.
And figuring out how to do it. So let's talk about a positive thing on closing. How relieved were you once the decision was made? Because for me, it was like instantaneous. Like instantaneous stress was lifted. I was like, all right, this is just what we're doing. I honestly didn't care if we were making people angry at that point. I just felt as if, hey, I'm muted at this time.
Very nice.
I just felt as if once I had made the decision to close, and now you all did a little different. Like you said, hey, we're going to close at the end of the day or whatever. I just went, hey, it's 2:27. I'm not opening anymore. I shut my door and we were done. A little different for me. I had already not laid off our staff. I had already told them not to come in and not to work, and we're still taking care of him and all that. But it was pretty much the biggest relief I had once I said, hey, we're done for 2 weeks. How are you?
Yeah, no, I mean, so when we came in on that Tuesday, and
Mhm.
we definitely were like, okay, this is, this is something we're going to have to change the way we're operating and take things seriously. And that's when we made the decision to, the distancing and the elimination of the beer trims and such. And so, I'm gonna be honest, man. I had the stress poops all day long, dude. My
Yeah.
my stomach was in knots. Like I was, having major issues all day. I mean, and I'm one of those guys. I mean, you guys know me. Like I am a very laid back person, and I cut up, and I'm probably overly optimistic, and so all that probably comes through in a lot of the things I say. Like I'm always the kind of guy that's like, okay, this is gonna work out, everything's gonna be fine. But
Right.
that was the first day where I was like, oh man, like this is I'm really starting to stress over this, and so man, it just once we got to Thursday. And yeah, I mean, and we're a new business, we opened up in September, there's not just like months and months and months of like capital sitting around. We were just paying the bills,
Yeah.
it's still going to take us time to become like an extremely profitable business. And so, we're just getting things done, and we're getting the bills paid and having fun. And then when that goes away, you're like, oh, but then honestly, man, Thursday, after we finally decided, hey, this is the best thing for the public, this is the best thing for us, dude, I'm like you, man, like everything just kind of, everything just shifted gears, I just
Yep.
became really relaxed, and like this whole weight was like lifted off my shoulders. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm not stressed about like, hey, when can we open back up?
Yeah, really.
But
Yeah.
but just to get that decision out of the way, to say, hey, this really is what's best. And it took some hard conversations, like for me to realize that, but it was, man, like you said, it was a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. So
Yeah.
I mean, I struggle with it personally. And how your lessons are going really good though, right? From what I understand.
For me, well, yeah, and I'll kind of talk through that. Like, I was probably one of the last music lesson studios to completely go online. Like, it just took me a long time. A lot like you, Don. Like, I was really optimistic that I could stay open. It's just one or two people in the room at a time with me, so we could do social distancing and all that. But I started looking around and researching, and like everyone in Knoxville had closed, like Music Lesson Academy, Knox Music Studios, things like that. And I didn't actually officially call it until this past Monday when the Knox County thing went out at like 1 o'clock, and I was like, okay. Some had already moved to Skype lessons. A couple were like, hey, we're just not going to do it at all for various reasons. But so like I felt good about it because I could do the online thing. And then the first two people that I contacted personally, because I texted like every single one of my students and parents, and I was like, hey, this is what's going on. The first two that responded were like, yeah, we can't do it. And I was like, oh crap. But thankfully only 4 people have had to like completely cancel, and then the rest have been able to stick around. And I mean, it's complicated because I have to move this computer in like 8 different positions depending on if I'm doing drums or piano or guitar. But if that's my only stress about it, like it's going pretty well. So that's it.
Cool.
yeah,
And
someone's eating up a burrito.
No, breakfast dogs.
Morning
Breakfast dogs
burrito.
today. So, which is a very complicated thing of pancake dough around, or batter. I'm sorry, batter around a piece of sausage. And it looks now banana bread. So we're doing a high carb breakfast right now. High carb.
Delicious.
Is that what you're
Yeah.
going to be cooking today? The 10:30?
No, I am doing queso dip today.
Ooh.
I'm teaching how to make queso. So we're going to do like if your kid's not old enough to mess with heat thing. Basically, also all these things that I'm cooking, are just basically what my kids are eating for lunch. So it's
Nice.
not.
Nice.
You're preparing lunch. I get it.
I mean, that's really all it is. And I'm a massive extrovert. I have to be around people. I have to talk. In fact, I went to go get grill cleaner yesterday that I forgot at the store. And that was supposed to be around forgot, by the way.
I was like, what store did you go to?
Just to be able to get in the car and leave. I took the oldest child with me, who is also an extreme extrovert, just to get out. So, and it filled everyone's cup a little bit. We've talked about that as well, just as a couple and as a family. Like, one of the things we said to our kids was, hey, let us know what you need during this time. This is stressful for you too. Like, what do you need? Like, what do you need to just chill? And it's different for all of them. So, some of them need to not talk and be alone and, go to their room and, watch an iPad or, hey, I just need 30 minutes for nobody to talk to me. And some of them need to be like, hey, I need a car ride. I just need to get out, I very much lean to I just need a car ride. I need to see civilization, those things. Businesses, did you think of any others that were, so we tend to lean, Don, I usually go straight to food when I think about businesses that I want to promo. Dude, like plumbers and roofers and electricians and all that stuff, because there's still home stuff going on, especially if you ran out of toilet paper and you're flushing baby wipes.
You're not supposed to flush the toilet paper.
No.
Flushable wipes you can flush, but not baby wipes.
It makes a whole lot of sense. I mean,
we've had some super solid guys, work on our building that kind of were there through the whole process of getting it renovated, and that have come out a couple of times to handle some things for us. Off the top of my head, I can't remember all their names. The only one I really remember is A1. They do plumbing, but they also do HVAC stuff. So they're super solid. I mean, those guys. Now we just actually, if you might, from being in the shop, Paul, there's this one like window that's over above Nikki's chair, who's right next to Spencer. That like during certain times of the day, towards the end of the day, the sun just pummels through. So we had this guy come out and tint that window. It's called Brothers Tinting. And I don't know if they're doing any tinting right now, if anybody needs anything tinted. But, man, they came out. They were super reasonable, super fast, did an amazing job. Super nice guy. His name is Yak, like as in Y-A-K, Yak. But Yak is amazing. So Brothers Tinting I would definitely shout out.
Is that his given Christian name, Yak?
I think it's,
Nice.
I believe so. And his brother's named Yen. It's Yak and Yen. So
nice.
Which I immediately thought of Yak and Yeti. So this guy knows what I'm talking about. So, But anyway, Super Brothers Tinting was amazing. You're thinking about Yak and Yeti now, aren't you?
What can you please explain that?
Sorry.
Sorry.
It's a really great restaurant over in the Asia section of Animal Kingdom. It's a sit-down dining restaurant
on the property.
Yeah, it's really it's a great park. I mean, Tusker House. Okay, here, let's stop. Do not get me and Paul going down this trail.
Okay.
Because we will talk about Disney for the next 4 hours.
I do want to talk about something on your building though. But keep going on Yak and.
Yak and Yen. I mean, like I said, we've had a lot of really great, just solid people come out and do things for us and work on the building. Again, I don't have all the information off the top of my head, but I mean, support your local Walmart now. But
Three Rivers is right down the road from you guys.
Three Rivers is, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure since they're a grocery store, they're still open, and Three Rivers is incredible. I mean, I go down to Three Rivers if there's something I need, in the shop, sometimes just for grocery things, like if I need coffee creamer or milk or something like that. But I also, go down there because they have a great lunch buffet. Now they may have got that lunch buffet pulled up right now because of everything, but I imagine.
Yeah, I'm going to look right now.
Cruise Farms is doing West Knoxville delivery now, by the way.
Oh, wow.
So for those of you who don't know where the shop is, it is in a it is a better neighborhood than it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it is also the neighborhood of the high school that I graduated from.
Ooh.
So, please tell me who replaced the window is what I want to know.
Oh man!
By the way,
if you wouldn't have asked,
the reason it didn't happen during shop hours, it happened overnight, all that. So, but they had to replace their window.
yeah, I mean, it was the same guys that put them all in. Man, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but yeah, it was. We basically had two of our windows shot with a pellet gun in our first 3 weeks of opening. It was right before.
Which is shocking the way the neighborhood is now. The way it was when I lived there, or I didn't live there. I lived on the other side. I lived
would have made more
Fulton
sense.
Central line, but
yeah, I think every once in a while there's just these little random sprees of that. I mean, I remember reading an article of somebody a couple of years ago just went up and down Broadway with like a pellet gun, just shooting windows and
Just
stuff.
'cause,
And
dang.
just cause, yeah. And so, yeah, it happened. And this is a good example of my like overly optimistic, like, so, the guys were like, man, we've only been open for 3 weeks. I'm like, well, the window's been there for 3 months because they had put it in, a couple months prior to us opening. And so I'm like, it actually survived way longer than I thought it would. Knock on wood, we haven't had any incidents since. It could have been just our welcome to the neighborhood kind of deal. It could have been
Hazing.
Who knows? It was so stupid, but we did replace one of the windows. And again, I'll have to get that name to you, and you can post it or something later. Mention it in another podcast. But
you guys have been such a positive in that neighborhood, though. So I mean, we're talking. You're 4 blocks from the projects. You're right in the middle of North Knoxville, and are you on the edge of Happy Holler, or are you outside of it?
We're technically, so we actually had a local elder person explain to us the hollers. And so Happy Holler is what you think of as Happy Holler is Happy Holler. It's that next dip down. You go past the Friezo, it's or whatever, the Tasty Free, whatever it's called. That's Happy Holler. Central Flats and Taps, that's Happy Holler. So we are technically in what they call Grasshopper Holler, apparently. And then,
really?
Yes. And then just the block down from us, or the area down from us, going towards Elst, is called Hypocrite Holler. So
what?
I
want
don't
a
know,
map.
man.
Like, I want to see all this just kind of drawn out.
Knoxville's so weird, man. Knoxville's so embarrassed by it. You can Google search like historic things in Knoxville, and it doesn't exist. It's like it's been erased from history online. Knoxville's so embarrassed about its past. It's so bizarre.
Can you when you make the Saints and Sailors hat, can you get like a little grasshopper embroidered on the back of it?
No, that's actually a really
just like a when people are like, why the grasshopper? Look up history.
Another real quick funny story. I mean, it's an interesting story is, and again, why we love being this neighborhood barbershop in this old building that's been there for almost 100 years is that we actually had one of our clients bring us. He said he had a city directory from 1958, and so he brought it in. So it was super cool, and I mean, it's really interesting. I mean, it was basically the phone book, but the way it's put together is really interesting. But we had looked, and our building actually, and you could kind of tell when we moved in based on the layout. I mean, there was no wall in the middle, but it used to be separate businesses inside that one building. And so there actually was a drugstore on the Oldham side of the building. And then on the other side of the building, closest to Magnolia Records, it was a barbershop called Bluebird Barbershop. And so then we actually had this older gentleman come in, got his hair cut. And he just was sitting there talking about how when he was like a teenager, he used to come in and hang out and get sodas at the drugstore and all this. It was like, I'm going down to the soda, whatever, but soda fountain. And but man, it was really interesting that it's the history that's in that building, and the changes that neighborhood's been through, and it's just kind of cool. I'd really love to find the original logo for Bluebird Barbershop if I could somehow hunt it down. And then kind of get that painted on the wall that's on the opposite side of the building, just to kind of have something, a little memorabilia in the shop. So
that'd be really cool. I just remember like maybe circa 2006. Don, I don't know if you were playing in any bands at that time, but like I was in a lot of hardcore and post-hardcore and like just metal kind of bands, and we would play like down in the not really Old City area. I guess that would be more Happy Holler, like Midtown, Cooper Street, just these hole in the wall venues. And it was cool because all these, I mean, we were like high school kids just hanging out in what was then considered like the sketchiest part of town. And then since then, that whole area has kind of grown up and become just a really cool place for anybody in Knoxville to hang out and feel safe and not sketched out by it. I mean, some of the whites out here in West Knoxville are still a little scared, but
no, man, it's definitely, you're right. I mean, it's definitely those blocks. I mean, anything from all the way down Broadway, down where Central Filling Station is, and they're getting ready to put Access Logistics across the street in that old Hull Dobbs building, and so that stretch. I mean, all the way down to Elst. I mean, it's a couple miles of road, but I mean, it's still walkable, and or you can ride a bike up and down, and I mean, and there's so much to do now.
Yeah.
And I'd say in 5 years, I mean, that's kind of why we wanted to be there. Was we wanted to go ahead and get in ahead of the curve before it was fully developed, and kind of be one of those businesses that kind of helped reshape the neighborhood. So like I said, John H. Daniel was down there, and Purple Heart Tattoo, and Smoky Mountain Vintage Lumber, and Wild Love Bakehouse. I wish they were open right now. They're an amazing place. Sean and Meg are incredible. Mid-Mod Collective. I mean, it's just so much, man. It's just a great neighborhood.
Isn't Knoxville like hardwood, like the Knoxville antique wood thing?
Yep.
Isn't that there?
Yep.
By the way, if you Google, just letting you know, if you Google Bluebird Barbershop, Knoxville, Tennessee, every single image that comes up is of Saints and Sailors. So,
What is Bluebird Barbershop?
That was the shop
that
used to be. Yeah, that's the shop that used to be in our building back in the 50s.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So, how's the family doing with everything, Don?
Man, this has actually been, as stressed as I am about all the business stuff. I mean, the upside is obviously all this is going to put a level of stress into everybody's life. But man, my son Ethan, he's super into soccer, and I've always tried to talk him into other things. But this week, 2 days ago, I think it was, I dug out my dad and mine, or I have our old baseball mitts, and so and I got out of baseball, and I was like, all right, dude, let's go out. And so, I mean, he's 8 years old, so I mean, I think it's a little, I guess, I don't know if that's too late to be learning this kind of stuff or not, but I mean, he learned how to throw a baseball and catch a baseball, and I mean, we've never played catch together, so that's kind of like this whole rite of passage kind of thing. So, I mean, it's like everybody's, I think, enjoying it. It's definitely good. I mean, everybody should take, when am I going to have this kind of time with my family again? So take advantage of it. And but I mean, everybody's kind of acclimating. Ethan starts distance learning next week, so learning to getting to be his teacher will be interesting. So I don't think his school was quite ready to do the distance learning this week. They had spring break last week. So this week they said you're going to have it's like the Hobbits eat second breakfast. This was second spring break, and so he
is this
got
Knox
second.
County?
Well, he goes to private school.
Oh, okay.
So they're in Knox County.
Knox County's was last week too, though.
Yeah. So I think Knox County probably started their distance learning this week, I guess, but no.
Right. Well, we can talk about that in a second. Because I was like, you are telling me something I don't know yet, and I am not prepared to do.
Fun.
No, so they're starting their distance learning next week. So we've got everything downloaded, and he's all set up and ready to go. I think they've got their first test Zoom meeting today, where they're just going to all jump online and see each other. But hopefully, it goes better than the way ours started earlier with the glitches. But anyway, no, man, it's definitely been, of course, our dishwasher fills up a lot faster because we're eating all of our meals at home.
Yeah, really.
So that's wild. I mean, we eat at 3 meals a day. So yeah, but it's definitely, it's enjoyable. You make the best of it, and I mean, everybody should be trying to at least. So.
Yeah, Knox County put out a blanket statement that they're not going to require people to homeschool, and they're not going to require distance learning because it's not equal to everyone. Like technology is not accessible to everybody.
That was one of the first things I said. Yeah, absolutely. Not every. I mean, the reality is not everybody has a computer at home.
Yeah.
You know.
The downside, and this is something obviously in our family we've talked about. We've got 2 kindergartners. Is that the teachers are also handcuffed into calling and speaking and saying, hey, are you working on things? And especially at this age when they're learning to read and things like that. We've got 2 great kindergarten teachers. One of them who is just, she's a Disney fanatic as well. So obviously we've kind of bonded with that. Ooh, look at that little Saints and Sailors little sticker on there. Look at that. Yep. Branded.
Also got an Anchor sticker on there. My business partner Ben, his other company, they're Anchors Away.
Yeah. I remember meeting Ben at Retropolitan.
Yeah, good dude.
Yeah, he's a great dude. Yeah, so they're not allowed to talk to their students, which is very strange to me. Because even giving classes, like just instruction over the phone, like, hey, are you working on this? Are you working on that? You know, talking about things around the house. They get really creative. Our teachers do. That is a job that I do not envy them. Like they take care of my kids 6 hours a day.
Yep.
And I thank them every day for that. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you know, Ashley was a homeschool mom before we got married, so I think we're going to be okay. She's good at it. I, on the other hand, am just, you know, I'm a chef, so I don't know how else to say.
Yeah.
How are you with the math?
I'm great with math.
Good with math? Yeah.
Yeah, my degree's in chemistry, man.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I could do math and English, and then everything else, I think... Luckily, I don't have to teach anyone anything.
Now, they're going to get their history from Jeopardy. They're going to learn how to spell words from Wheel of Fortune.
Perfect.
Like, they're going to learn negotiating skills.
I see Paul teaching the kids about math the way Jack Black did in School of Rock, doing the sing song.
Yeah. Honestly, wouldn't that have been better? I wish I had that. I was going to say they can learn to recognize lack of self-awareness on Judge Judy, maybe.
Yes. Mistakes on Maury.
Yeah. All of his life skills.
I'm sorry.
Have you guys watched Tiger King?
Yes. No.
Yes. I haven't started. So we're finishing up second season of Making a Murderer because I was like totally behind on that. And so we've got like 3 episodes of that left, and we're trying to like just blast through it so we can move on to Tiger King.
I cannot wait to talk about Tiger King on this thing. It is the best train wreck I've ever seen in my entire life.
So I have to watch it, right?
So listen, all right, look, it's a gay zoo owner that convinces 2 straight guys to be in a triple marriage with him, and that's not the most shocking thing about it.
Like that's episode 1.
No, it comes in episodes, but like it's great. It is fabulous. Have you seen Abducted in Plain Sight?
Yes.
The little pop.
Asher, you haven't seen that?
No. Is it on Netflix?
You have to watch.
It's absolutely on Netflix, and it's just one of those documentaries where you're just sitting there like banging your fists against your head, and you're like, there's no way this is real. There's no way these people.
That's the same thing about Tiger King, but it's 6 hours of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good grief.
Listen, about 20 minutes into watching Abducted in Plain Sight, don't put anything in your mouth because you're about to spit it out from laughter.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And like the parents, the premise of this whole Abducted in Plain Sight is that basically these 2 parents, they basically let their daughter get abducted, not once but twice, for weeks at a time, like right in front of them. And basically, like the dad's response every time, like he's always like, it's just like shrugs his shoulders. He's like, I don't know.
He shrugged his shoulders to one thing.
It's so crazy, man.
Like, I don't care how good.
And when he tells, and here's one thing that he's gonna say. pretty early on and he just
About
like
20 minutes in.
Yeah, he just goes like this, and he's like, "Eh." It's
Oh
so
my
crazy.
gosh, man!
You gotta watch it.
I totally believe it though, because I feel like that's how some people really are. It's crazy.
It's only like 3 episodes. It's not a super long one. It's only like 3 episodes, I think, two or three episodes. So yeah, you can get through it pretty quick.
Yeah, like
it's so crazy.
But no, Tiger King is fabulous. It's also a recent story. Like,
yeah,
like
I thought it looked pretty new. Yeah,
yeah. Like, I mean, like the conclusion of everything going on was December of 2019.
Yeah, it's crazy because I mean that dude. I mean, he looks like Joe Dirt and Kenny Powers had a baby.
Gosh, that's a great description. Like I can picture his face, even though I haven't seen it yet.
He has like this bleach blonde mullet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like carries a gun on his hip. He either has a knee brace or a cane or nothing at all episodes of the show.
Gosh,
oh, it's rough.
Like he's like shooting blow up dolls. Like it's the best train wreck I've ever seen.
Wait, and he owned a zoo or owns a zoo.
He owned, yes, and he got like 19% of the governor's vote in the state of Oklahoma. Like 19% of the people in the state voted for him to be governor.
This was all
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
was it in Tulsa or is it Oklahoma City or whatever?
I can't wait. That'll be fun.
One of our other kids very excited about her breakfast dog now. I don't know if you heard the skipping to that.
I'm excited about the breakfast dog. I don't even have a breakfast dog.
They're the easiest thing to ever feed them.
We've been doing the last couple of mornings. I've been doing fried eggs and fried spam. So,
bringing some spam into it, buddy.
Oh, we love spam.
Man.
Yeah, spam's so good.
Some people hate on spam, but spam's amazing. We did fried eggs yesterday too, like 3 each. So good.
There's actually a really good. A few years ago, Art of Manliness did like a write up because people think like spam is like not meat or not good meat, or they think it's like all lips and buttholes, and so
those are hot dogs.
So,
that's hot dogs,
right? Yeah, but I mean, I think spam gets lumped in with all that, like processed meat, and it's really not. And there's like this really great write up that Art of Manliness did about like why spam came about, and the reason they did it. It was for the military, basically, and the way it's packaged and like the congealed like goo inside is all part of it. I mean, so it's a really great write up. So if you just Google search Art of Manliness and spam, you can read up on that and get educated if you don't like spam.
Well, I think
4 people probably that are watching us right now.
I think anyone who can get past like it's in a can and it's kind of weird, like the goo really turns them off. So what is the goo? Is it just fat?
So like we sell a lot of spam, and I think it's because people don't have to prepare it.
Yes,
because they like it. They just don't want to go through the preparation process.
It's salty meat. What's not to like?
It's salt. It's salt, pork, and fat. Like, what's there not to love?
It's like it's like 98% pork shoulder or something like that. I mean, it's almost all pork shoulders.
It's delicious.
Oh, which is also called a butt. So I can go into that history lesson if you really want to. Yeah, they're called Boston butts because of a train, because it was on the butt train line. That's why it's called that. So, yeah.
Love those butts.
And then spam musubi isn't actually Hawaiian. So that's another fun story. So it started in the camps in California, in the Japanese camps, and then made it to Hawaii from the military. So.
Ooh, good to know.
It just
turned into a history podcast.
I know that's going to come up on Jeopardy for sure.
I wrote a 17-page paper on the influence of Greek food on Spanish food because of the Basque War Trail. Like, I can get real nerdy with food, guys.
Yeah.
No, let's not do that.
No, not.
What? Anyways, what have you been doing for fun, Asher? How are the dogs, man?
Dogs are great. I think I was telling you the other day, either on here or otherwise, that we take 2 walks a day for about an hour each and just go around the neighborhood. It's about the only way to wear them out at the moment, and especially since it's been raining. But no, they're great. They're extremely well-trained 1-year-old Australian Shepherds. So,
do they fetch?
They kind of fetch, but mostly the boy dog gets it and then plays this game called Get Me. That's what we call it anyway. So yeah, it's kind of like he just does keep away.
Yeah, I have had pets in my life, and I had a Weimaraner, and she played fetch for like 7 years. You throw the ball, she runs and gets it, she brings it back, runs and gets it, brings it back. There's one day I threw the ball, and she legitimately looked at it and then looked back at me and never did it again. I thought it was like a one-time fluke. Like every week I would try to throw the ball, and she'd be like, "Nah, we're good. Like we're good. Like I'm done. Like I'm done with this." So, and I mean, and it wasn't like she was old. She lived like another 4 years, man.
Just no more fetch.
Yeah, she was just like, "I'm done," and would go in and lay on the couch and be done.
That's
never
so
again.
Funny. We had a border collie like that, which was kind of the opposite of like, I guess their normal temperament. But I mean, other than dog stuff, like I've just been trying to make the studio better and more conducive to the online thing. And then Lindsay's writing her dissertation right now. She's been doing that for a few weeks. She's getting her PhD in chemistry. And she would have been quarantined anyway, so this isn't like super different for her at the moment, except she can't actually go to UT campus. So, yeah. That's about it.
She has access to everything online, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's about it at the Milker household at the moment. Playing with Legos a little bit. What about you, Don?
Does Paul know that's the Milker story? My Milker story?
No, I don't think he knows your Milker story. That's my last name,
it's nothing funny, but yeah. No, I had to, like, it was one day, I guess, like, I reached out to Lance Asher, and I said, because we all play in the cover band together, and I said, Lance, I thought Asher's last name was Coker, because now it says Milker, and his wife says Milker too. So, did I just get something wrong this whole time? As Lance just gave me all kinds of crap about it because he's like, "You're stupid."
Yeah, and I'll just explain for the viewership. She didn't change her last name, so she is still technically Miller on paper, and then I'm Coker. And we were gonna do Milker, but it costs like $400 for a man to change his. I told you
that the last show we played when I'm profitable.
Yep.
When I got a little extra little coin coming in, I'm gonna pay to make that happen.
I'm gonna chip in on this too. Like I need that.
I need you guys to become the Milkers.
I'll start a GoFundMe after the coronavirus. I feel like this is not a good time to start that particular GoFundMe.
We can spend money on much more reasonable items.
Sure.
But
however, well, I mean, when you look at the depression, right? And I'm not saying we're going into depression, but the two things that people spent money on were entertainment and food.
Mm-hmm.
Before they paid their bills, they spent money on entertainment and food and hygiene, which is good. So
yeah,
I think all three of us, listen, I realize that we're not all three, but that's what it looks like to me, are in that boat right now.
I think we're doing this.
Yeah. Oh, are you guys like in a line on your computer?
Yeah.
No. Well, I'm in the corner. I'm up here, and you two are right there. But on Facebook, I think we're all rode up.
Yeah, that's how.
I think we're Brady Bunch style. Well, Siri thought I was talking to her for some reason.